Section 2. How Fear Came. Part 2. "What is this right Shere Khan speaks of?" Mowgli whispered in Bagheera's ear. "To kill man is always shameful. The law says so, and yet Hathi says—" "Ask him. I do not know, Little Brother. Right or no right, if Hathi had not spoken, I would have taught that lame butcher his lesson. To come to the Peace Rock fresh from a kill of man, and to boast of it, is a jackal's trick. Besides, he tainted the good water." Mowgli waited for a minute to pick up his courage, because no one dared to address Hathi directly, and then he cried, "What is Shere Khan's right, O Hathi?" Both banks echoed his words, for all the people of the jungle are intensely curious, and they had just seen something that none except Baloo, who looked very thoughtful, seemed to understand. "It is an old tale," said Hathi, "a tale older than the jungle. Keep silence along the banks, and I will tell that tale." There was a minute or two of pushing, a shouldering among the pigs and the buffalo, and then the leaders of the herds grunted, one after another, "We wait," and Hathi strode forward till he was nearly knee deep in the pool by the Peace Rock. Lean and wrinkled and yellow-tusked though he was, he looked what the jungle knew him to be, their master. "Ye know, children," he began, "that of all things ye most fear man." And there was a mutter of agreement. "This tale touches thee, Little Brother," said Bagheera to Mowgli. I am of the Pack, a hunter of the Free People," Mowgli answered. "What have I to do with man?" "And ye do not know why ye fear man?" Hathi went on. "This is the reason. In the beginning of the jungle, and none know when that was, we of the jungle walked together, having no fear of one another. In those days there was no drought, and leaves and flowers and fruit grew on the same tree, and we eat nothing at all except leaves and flowers, and grass and fruit and bark." "I am glad I was not born in those days," said Bagheera. "Bark is only good to sharpen claws." "And the lord of the jungle was Tha, the first of the elephants. He drew the jungle out of deep waters with his trunk, and where he made furrows in the ground with his tusks, there the rivers ran, and where he struck with his foot, there rose ponds of good water. And when he blew through his trunk, thus, the trees fell. That was the manner in which the jungle was made by Tha, and so the tale was told to me." "It has not lost fat in the telling," Bagheera whispered, and Mowgli lost behind his hand. "In those days there was no corn, or melons, or pepper, or sugar cane. Nor were there any little huts such as ye have all seen. And the jungle people knew nothing of man, but lived in the jungle together, making one people. But presently they began to dispute over their food. Though there was grazing enough for all, they were lazy. Each wished to eat where he lay, as sometimes we can do now when the spring rains are good. Tha, the first of the elephants, was busy making new jungles and leading the rivers in their beds. He could not walk in all places. Therefore he made the first of the tigers, the master and the judge of the jungle, to whom the jungle people should bring their disputes. In those days the first of the tigers ate fruit and grass with the others. He was as large as I am, and he was very beautiful, in colour all over like the blossom of the yellow creeper. There was never stripe nor bar upon his hide in those good days when the jungle was new. All the jungle came before him without fear, and his word was the law of all the jungle. We were then, remember ye, one people. Yet upon a night there was a dispute between two bucks, a grazing quarrel, such as ye now settle with the horns and the forefeet. And it is said that as the two spoke together before the first of the tigers, lying among the flowers, a buck pushed him with his horns, and the first of the tigers forgot that he was the master and judge of the jungle, and leaping upon that buck, broke his neck. Till that night never one of us had died, and the first of the tigers, seeing what he had done, and being made foolish by the scent of the blood, ran away into the marshes of the north, and we of the jungle, left without a judge, fell to fighting amongst ourselves. And Thar heard the noise of it, and came back. Then some of us said this, and some of us said that, but he saw the dead buck among the flowers, and asked who had killed, and we of the jungle would not tell, because the smell of the blood made us foolish. We ran to and fro in circles, capering and crying out and shaking our heads. Then Thar gave an order to the trees that hang low, and to the trailing creepers of the jungle, that they should mark the killer of the buck, so that he should know him again. And he said, "Who will now be master of the jungle people?" Then up leaped the grey ape who lives in the branches, and said, "I will now be master of the jungle." And Thar laughed and said, "So be it," and went away very angry. Children, ye know the grey ape. He was then as he is now. At the first he made a wise face for himself, but in a little while he began to scratch and to leap up and down, and when Thar came back he found the grey ape hanging head down from a bough, mocking those who stood below, and they mocked him again, and so there was no law in the jungle, only foolish talk and senseless words. Then Thar called us all together and said, "The first of your masters has brought death into the jungle, and the second shame. Now it is time there was a law, and a law that ye must not break. Now ye shall know fear, and when ye have found him ye shall know that he is your master, and the rest shall follow." Then we of the jungle said, "What is fear?" And Thar said, "Seek till ye find." So he went up and down the jungle seeking for fear, and presently the buffaloes— "Ugh!" said Meister, the leader of the buffaloes, from their sad bank. "Yes, Meister, it was the buffaloes. They came back with the news that in a cave in the jungle sat Fear, and that he had no hair and went upon his hind legs. Then we of the jungle followed the herd till we came to that cave, and Fear stood at the mouth of it, and he was, as the buffaloes had said, hairless, and he walked upon his hinder legs. When he saw us he cried out, and his voice filled us with the fear that we have now of that voice when we hear it, and we ran away, tramping upon and tearing each other because we were afraid. That night, so it was told to me, we of the jungle did not lie down together as used to be our custom, but each tribe drew off by itself, the pig with the pig, the deer with the deer, horn to horn, hoof to hoof, like keeping to like, and so lay shaking in the jungle. Only the first of the tigers was not with us, for he was still hidden in the marshes of the north, and when word was brought to him of the thing we had seen in the cave, he said, "I will go to this thing and break his neck." So he ran all the night till he came to the cave, but the trees and the creepers on his path remembering the order that Thar had given, let down their branches and marked him as he ran, drawing their fingers across his back, his flank, his forehead, and his jowl. Wherever they touched him there was a mark and a stripe upon his yellow hide, and those stripes do his children wear to his day. When he came to the cave, Fear, the Hairless One, put out his hand and called him the Striped One that comes by night, and the first of the tigers was afraid of the Hairless One and ran back to the swamps howling. Mowgli chuckled quietly here, his chin in the water. So loud did he howl that Thar heard him and said, "What is the sorrow?" And the first of the tigers, lifting up his muzzle to the new-made sky, which is now so old, said, "Give me back my power, O Thar. I am made ashamed before all the jungle, and I have run away from a Hairless One, and he has called me a shameful name." "And why?" said Thar. "Because I am smeared with the mud of the marshes," said the first of the tigers. "Swim then and roll on the wet grass, and if it be mud it will wash away," said Thar. And the first of the tigers swam and rolled upon the grass, till the jungle ran round and round before his eyes, but not one little bar upon his hide was changed, and Thar, watching him, laughed. Then the first of the tigers said, "What have I done that this comes to me?" Thar said, "Thou hast killed the buck, and thou hast let death loose in the jungle, and with death has come fear, so that the people of the jungle are afraid of one of the other, as thou art afraid of the Hairless One." The first of the tigers said, "They will never fear me, for I knew them since the beginning." Thar said, "Go and see." And the first of the tigers ran to and fro, calling aloud to the deer and the pig and the samba and the porcupine and all the jungle peoples, and they all ran away from him who had been their judge, because they were afraid. Then the first of the tigers came back, and his pride was broken in him, and, beating his head upon the ground, he tore up the earth with all his feet and said, "Remember that I was once the master of the jungle. Do not forget me, O Thar. Let my children remember that I was once without shame or fear." And Thar said, "This much I will do, because thou and I together saw the jungle made. For one night in each year it shall be as it was before the buck was killed, for thee and for thy children. In that one night, if ye meet the Hairless One, and his name is Man, ye shall not be afraid of him, but he shall be afraid of you, as though you were the judge of the jungle and master of all things. Show him mercy in that night of his fear, for thou hast known what fear is." Then the first of the tigers answered, "I am content." But when next he drank, he saw the black stripes upon his flank and his side, and he remembered the name that the Hairless One had given him, and he was angry. For a year he lived in the marshes, waiting till Thar should keep his promise, and upon a night when the jackal of the moon, the evening star, stood clear of the jungle, he felt that his night was upon him, and he went to that cave to meet the Hairless One. Then it happened as Thar promised, for the Hairless One fell down before him and lay along the ground, and the first of the tigers struck him and broke his back, for he thought that there was but one such thing in the jungle, and that he had killed Fear. Then, nosing above the kill, he heard Thar coming down from the woods of the north, and presently the voice of the first of the elephants, which is the voice that we hear now. The thunder was rolling up and down the dry, scarred hills, but it brought no rain, only heat, lightning that flickered along the ridges, and Hati went on. That was the voice he heard, and it said, "Is this thy mercy?" The first of the tigers licked his lips and said, What matter? I have killed Fear." And Thar said, "O blind and foolish, thou hast untied the feet of Death. He will follow thy trail till thou diest. Thou hast taught man to kill." The first of the tigers, standing stiffly to his kill, said, "He is as the buck was. There is no fear. Now I will judge the jungle peoples once more." And Thar said, "Never again shall the jungle peoples come to thee. They shall never cross thy trail, nor sleep near thee, nor follow after thee, nor browse by thy lair. Only Fear shall follow thee, and with a blow that thou canst not see he shall bid thee wait his pleasure. He shall make the ground to open under thy feet, and the creeper to twist about thy neck, and the tree trunks to grow together about thee higher than thou can leap. And at the last he shall take thy hide to wrap his cubs when they are cold. Thou hast shown him no mercy, and none will he show thee." The first of the tigers was very bold, for his night was still on him, and he said, "The promise of Thar is the promise of Thar. He will not take away my night." And Thar said, "The one night is thine, as I have said, but there is a price to pay. Thou hast taught man to kill, and he is no slow learner." The first of the tigers said, "He is here under my foot, and his back is broken. Let the jungle know I have killed Fear." Then Thar laughed and said, "Thou hast killed one of many, but thou thyself shalt tell the jungle, for thy night is ended." So the day came, and from the mouth of the cave went out another hairless one, and he saw the kill in the path, and the first of the tigers above it, and he took a pointed stick. "They throw a thing that cuts now," said Ikki, rustling down the bank, for Ikki was considered uncommonly good eating by the Gonds. They called him Ho Igu, and he knew something of the wicked little Gondi axe that whirls across a clearing like a dragonfly. "It was a pointed stick, such as they put in the foot of a pit trap," said Hati, and throwing it, he struck the first of the tigers deep in the flank. Thus it happened as Thar said, for the first of the tigers ran howling up and down the jungle till he tore out the stick, and all the jungle knew that the hairless one could strike from far off, and they feared more than before. So it came about that the first of the tigers taught the hairless one to kill, and you know what harm that has since done to all our peoples. Through the noose, and the pitfall, and the hidden trap, and the flying stick, and the stinging fly that comes out of white smoke" Hati meant the rifle, "and the red flower that drives us into the open. Yet for one night in the year the hairless one fears the tiger, as Thar promised, and never has the tiger given him cause to be less afraid. Where he finds him, there he kills him, remembering how the first of the tigers was made ashamed. For the rest, Fear walks up and down the jungle by day and by night." "Ai, ooh," said the deer, thinking of what it all meant to them. "And only when there is one great fear over all, as there is now, can we of the jungle lay aside our little fears and meet together in one place as we do now." "For one night only does man fear the tiger," said Mowgli. "For one night only." But all the jungle knows that Shere Khan kills man twice and thrice in a moon." "Even so. Then he springs from behind and turns his head aside as he strikes, for he is full of fear. If man looked at him he would run. But on his one night he goes openly down to the village. He walks between the houses and thrusts his head into the doorway, and the men fall on their faces, and there he does his kill. One kill in that night." "Oh!" said Mowgli to himself, rolling over in the water. "Now I see why it was Shere Khan bade me look at him. He got no good of it, for he could not hold his eyes steady, and I certainly did not fall down at his feet. But then I am not a man, being of the Free People." Said Bagheera deep in his furry throat. "Does the Tiger know his night?" "Never till the Jackal of the Moon stands clear of the evening mist. Sometimes it falls in the dry summer, and sometimes in the wet rains. This one night of the Tiger. But for the first of the Tigers, this would never have been, nor would any of us have known fear." The Deer grunted sorrowfully, and Bagheera's lip curled in a wicked smile. "Do men know this tale?" said he. "None know it except the Tigers, and we, the Elephants, the children of Thar. Now ye by the pools have heard it, and I have spoken." Hathi dipped his trunk into the water, as a sign that he did not wish to talk. But," said Mowgli, turning to Baloo, "why did not the first of the Tigers continue to eat grass and leaves and trees? He did but break the buck's neck. He did not eat. What led him to the hot meat?" "The trees and creepers marked him, little brother, and made him the striped thing that we see. Never again would he eat their fruit, but from that day he revenged himself upon the deer and the others, the eaters of grass," said Baloo. "Then thou knowest the tale, ha? Why have I never heard?" "Because the Jungle is full of such tales. If I made a beginning there would never be an end to them. Let go my ear, little brother." Section